In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing Season 4, Episode 5, Under a Blanket of Red of Yellowstone. Now, a lot happens in this episode, and some might find it slow going because we are now at the halfway point of Season 4. 5 episodes left remaining, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the episode starts off with, Kevin Costner's character of John Dutton reflecting on certain things, and then he moves back into his room, and he has a heart-to-heart with his daughter, Beth. And basically that, progresses to certain things of how John looks at his life right now and how it's much different than what Beth has. Now, all the while this is happening, the reason that Beth is front and center in this episode, as is John, they both have an equal amount of screen time in this episode, which I'm really, really surprised at. Usually, mostly all the supporting characters are really focused on, but this episode, Episode 5, was really focused on John and Beth. And the reason I say that is because Beth is now the president of market equity in the Montana division. So she goes to Bob at Schwarzenmeyer and fires him and everybody there. And she just takes over, and she did it while driving 7 hours, and she just really put her foot down. She basically tells everything that this is mine, you're fired, what you did, you couldn't be done, and she just, does her thing. Beth is really cutthroat, and it goes to show what she's capable of, especially in this episode. Not only that, she tells her father that she's going to be president of market equity, and she took the job in order to save the family, so to speak. So all the while this is happening, John is called to a protest, an animal activist rights protest, and we're introduced to Summer Higgins, played by Piper Perabo. It's her first time on this series, and she's one of the ones that leads the protest of everything. And the reason this episode is called Under a Blanket of Red is because the protesters put red paint on them, and she gets taken to jail, charges are pressed against her. But then John has a heartfelt moment to himself and, gets her out of prison and, just tells her everything. Like, I want to show you my ranch because I want to see if you have any other different perspective of what you think might have. Jamie is doing his own thing and looking into the assassination attempt on the Dutton family. He wants to give this guy that it's in prison full immunity. So he gives him full immunity to answer questions. And he asks the question of, is this the man who orchestrated the assassination attempt on the Dutton family? And basically he shows this guy who's in prison a picture of his own biological father. And we don't know the answer to that or anything. So the next time we see Jamie, he goes to his father and he's like, you have secrets, this and that. And Jamie tells him, like, you go first. And all of a sudden we see that woman that Jamie had a fling with back in Season 1 or Season 2, where she became pregnant and left. We never heard about her. All of a sudden she shows up with Jamie's baby, a newborn son. So there's more pressure to that and everything, and it's just crazy of what's happening everywhere where you look. Not only that, Rip is still giving Lloyd a hard time on the ranch and in the bunkhouse, and which is really sad to see because Lloyd is one of those strong supporting characters where everybody else is just doing their own thing and Lloyd is sitting in the background. So basically Rip tells Lloyd to train the young boy that's there. I really don't like the plot of the young boy in this series. I feel like it's just there to waste time and for the writer to just, move the story along when it's not really necessarily needed. But somehow you can tell that Lloyd and this boy are going to be bonding together really, really closely. So John asked Rip what happened with Lloyd. And, Rip says his own stupid shit. And, John's like, well, just remember, he is here for a reason and he's protecting us for a reason. And Rip's like, well, he's the reason that we are protected or something like that. But this episode was really interesting. It was really different. Like I said, we saw a lot more of John Dutton and definitely more of Beth in this episode. Not much more of Casey because Casey is now at the reservation with his wife and his son, and basically they are trying to give him a cleanse about what he did and the things he saw after he shot that guy in the beginning of the Season 4 episode. So and then they're also looking into moving into their own house. So a lot of things are happening with Casey, but he's doing his own thing, and while everything else is going around him. This was a really good episode, but it was slow going and slow moving, which is what Yellowstone is. Many people who like this series find that this show is slow, but at times it picks up because when Beth is on or when Kevin Costner is on, then the show really picks up. But then the underlying factors, we have the supporting characters who also move this story along as well. So I'm really curious to find out what's going to happen now that we're at the halfway point of Season 4 of Yellowstone. Anything can happen, anything's possible, because it's going to rev up really, really fast. Like I said, there's episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 left, so 5 episodes left. and I'm pretty sure it's going to pick up really, really fast. So let me know in the comment section below what you thought about episode 5 of Yellowstone, Under a Blanket of Red. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about Beth becoming the president of market equity in the Montana division? Do you see that this is a good or bad thing for her? And where do you see John Dutton's character going with this Summer Higgins animal protest activist? Like, do you think he's going to help her out? He's going to move. She's going to move in. Like, what? And anything's possible. And things are going to rev up because, you know, we still have to find out who put the hit on the Dutton family and why. And was it Jamie's father that did it? Or was it the woman that just came back into Jamie's life? That's another thing to think about too. So let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked. And I'll see you guys in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week for my episode 6 review of Yellowstone.